Welcome back everyone to today's video. We are going to be looking at the latest, seeing if any of the charts are picking up on the possible December cold and the latest from the main models today. There will be a lot of uncertainty in the models over the next couple of weeks. I expect a lot of the milds to stay very mild for December over the next few days before a big flip starts to happen sometime next week, because when the atmosphere's like this, when we've got stuff like an SSW happening, the models don't know what to do. And we saw it with the Beast from the East. It just appeared, and this is what's going to happen this time if we are going to get anything pretty cold. There'll be loads of chopping and changing. Once again, we might not go cold, but this year looks set up to be more likely. So it's going to be all over the place, and I'm going to show you some data now to show you what might happen. This is the latest GFS, and it looks a bit like this. I'm gonna show you this now. Right, okay, so this is the latest GFS. So the ridge collapse, we bring in a bit of less cold air off the Atlantic, but we are still pretty cold. Then that low pressure flies in, and we get the winds back around from the northeast for a time. It's pretty cool and chilly. Then we go wet, windy, and mild, unsettled off the Atlantic. High pressure then starts building over the country, but we stay pretty flat westerly and nothing overly cold at all. But I do expect this from the models over the next couple of days, as they've got no idea what's going on. These are the precipitation and upper air temperature ensembles based on the GFS 12Z. The average line is this big thick red line, which they average from 1991 to 2020. Currently firmly below average for the time of the year. We're going to go about around average before we drop below again, staying pretty chilly once more. We then will see a return to average, and then as we get any time past here, the 2nd of December, I don't think we've got any uncertainty or certainty what's going to happen. Most models are going mild at the minute, but that is just because they don't know what's going to happen, and the atmosphere is very weird, so they're going to have no idea really what is going on. So the models are going to do whatever they want at the minute, so that's all I can say. I'll show you a couple of the GFS ensembles to see if I can find any blocking. We'll go to hour 300. The control one looks like this. Number 1, I'm looking for a Scandinavian high, because that's what it looks like it's going to set up. We've got a bit of signs of Scandi setting up there, as you can see. There you go. Nothing gets going though. 5, there you go. So there's a Scandi high trying to get going from number 5. It doesn't actually go cold. It's close. It actually does. So by the end of the run, we've got with ensemble 5, Scandi high setting up. Atlantic is being blocked off there. Big low pressure system trying to bring winds in from the west. Low pressure out here and cold air is digging in, and we are going very cold with ensemble number 5. So the signals from ensemble 5 that we're trying to get Scandi high going. Very interesting indeed. Number 6 looks wet, windy. 8, 9, 10, 11. 13's trying to get something going, as you can see. It just tries to get us into an easterly. Not quite though. Close. Very close. Yeah, it is very close, but we do want to see a cold pool building over Scandinavia before the easterlies. Bit of a Scandi building there. This looks more promising. There you go, take a look at this run. Ensemble 17 at the end, setting up a proper Scandinavian high. Problem is there's not much cold over Europe once again, but we will start to tap into that pretty cold air. Take a look at that. We just haven't got much cold in Europe at the minute. If that was mid-January, you'd see all these dark purple colours that we've got up here at the minute, all down here, and that's why we got the Beast. But once again, it's going to be cold. If that gets in, it looks like it's going to as well. Take a look at that. We'll probably have a bit of a battleground going on, all sorts of snow events. So very interesting from that run. Low pressure trying to get in, but we are staying cold. Well, we will be going cold with that one anyway. 18 looks like that. It's a bit of a Scandi getting going. 19 is getting a Scandi going as well, and 19 has got a bit more cold building up there. You see, there's more cold coming down from the Arctic there. You can see as it progresses. You can see this area is starting to move south there. if you do just like take a look at it. Take a look, you can see it moving south, and we are getting a cold pool building there, and we're already pretty cold by that point. So that's a Scandi high. Number 20 looks like that, 21, 22. Maybe a hint of a Scandi high from 22. Not quite there though. 23 looks like that, not really. 24, 25. Getting a Scandi going there. 26. Looks like we're about to unleash it from. Well, that's very interesting. We've got high pressure retrogressing up towards Greenland, and this is very interesting. We've got low pressure starting to drop there, and that's going to push the energy down there, forcing the high pressure up towards Greenland and Iceland, and we're going to be in very cold northerly winds. I'm suggesting it's very cold just there. Take a look at that. Extreme cold in that area of low pressure. That low pressure is just freezing. There's nothing mild about it, really. And that reminds me of something very interesting. Let's go back to the infamous year of 2010. And we'll show you why I am picking up on that. I'm going to show you the resemblance. So this is 2010. Here's the high pressure pushing north. Right. So there is the situation in 2010 on the 14th of December. This is our situation on the 6th of December. Low pressure really strong just there. Take a look. Really strong low pressure just sitting there. Really strong low pressure just sitting there. We then send the energy up towards Greenland. Extremely high block. Polar vortex disconnects and we got extremely cold. This is in December 2010, by the way. You know, absolutely freezing temperatures, and we're in the freezer with that one. Extremely cold December, coldest since 1840, I think, and we stay cold for a lot of the month up in towards the end of December before we start to go a bit milder. But even by then, we are staying pretty cold to even start January, and we go cold again in 2010. So that was a very interesting winter, and we are seeing resemblance for this year. Basically, this setup here, what we are seeing, you can see the high pressure retrogressing towards Greenland. That high pressure there is going to go up there. Low pressure is going to be sent down here, and winds are going to be in from a very cold northerly, and all the cold air with that low pressure from the Arctic as well, pushing down. So that's a very interesting ensemble. Probably won't come off. It might do, but it's still too far off. So, you know, a lot of models hinting at the Scandi high. So it's interesting indeed. A bit of a northerly from that one at the end, but all of this pointing towards more signals. A lot of the models stay mild at the minute, but that is understandable because we are that early on, and none of them really know what's going on. But that's a proper, that's what you want. That is a proper cold December 2010, and we are seeing resemblances this year, and it wouldn't be impossible to do that again. So I'm not saying we're going to get it. I'm not saying December's going to be cold, but we've definitely got a higher possibility of it doing it this year. And that was very rare, by the way, the polar vortex disconnect. ECMWF charts, here we go. Let's have a look at the latest, just updated. This is week 1 for the 24th of November to 1st of December. High pressure sitting at the Atlantic, westerly winds coming in, turning milder. Week 2, 1st to the 8th of December, high pressure blocking around Scandinavia over the country, winds coming in from a slack easterly, you know, doom and gloom, maybe a bit chilly at times. 8th to the 15th of December, low pressure out in the Atlantic, high pressure over the Scandi, winds coming in from the southeast, pretty, not too cold though. Week 3, 15th to 22nd of December, high pressure over Greenland, Iceland and Scandinavia, winds coming up from the southeast. I would like it to be more northeasterly. It's got the building blocks, it's just a bit of a dodgy wind direction. Same again for week 4. The setups there, the last couple of updates were better than this. Maybe just getting there for the end of the month. Winds getting in from a more of a better easterly, but you know, it's still pretty interesting. It just depends. If we got that cold air to the southeast, it will be cold nevertheless, but we do just need that cold air in place before we do the easterly, or it will not be that cold. If we go to Tuesday, we can see that it was much better. There's much stronger easterlies, much more northeasterlies, more proper easterlies. But they are going to chop and change, and that is understandable. That's an absolutely brilliant chart there. Winds in from a beasterly easterly with that one. And week 5 the same, with winds in from extremely cold easterly direction. So that's what we're looking for, them easterlies. Still uncertain whether it's going to come off, and the models will be wobbling a lot as well. Latest zonal winds from the ECMWF, which shows if we're going to get an SSW, which is a warming in the stratosphere, which would help us with the blocking signals. This is the average lineup here. We're much below at the minute, and we're going to be carrying on weakening it. We don't quite get to an SSW on the 26th of November. Oh, we can't see that, which is pretty disappointing. For a technical SSW, we do need to get below the 0 line, but this year it might not even matter, because it's the early. We do get an SSW, it'll be the earliest ever recorded on record. Around the 1st of December, though, end of November, we do end up getting the Zola winds just below, but it's not really that crazy, and we're actually we're reversing them back up pretty quickly and not very sustained. If we go back to Monday, you can see the charts were much more bullish on staying cold, and we have much more keeping it cold for a longer period and going further down. I mean, Sunday, you know, we've had wobbles. I mean, Saturday wasn't very good. Sunday looked much better. Then Monday's was even better, with a lot going very below average and keeping it there, by the way. Tuesday's was pretty good as well, and then Wednesday's, yesterday's, the wobble started, and today the wobble continues. We're just not getting it that low down. We're not keeping it down there either, which is a bit disappointing, but we may not even need that this year. If the SSW doesn't come off, we're still a very weak polar vortex. That's all I'm going to show you in today's video, because there's a lot of uncertainty, and the models are going to be all over the place over the next couple of days. I think mid next week we will start to have some better signals of if the cold will happen in December, and if it'll be something severe as 2010, which I'm not saying anything like that's going to happen. We should start seeing some more signals soon, but over the next few days I'm not expecting any severely cold or cold signals from the main models. As with the atmosphere how it is, the MJO going into phase 7, SSW on the cards, all sorts of stuff just all over the place. So I really don't know what the models are going to do. It's likely that they keep wobbling and going to be all over the place. I have no clue. Probably going to try and make it look pretty mild for December, but a big flip will probably happen. Anyway, that's my thoughts anyway. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.